dissipate into a thick fog hiding who knows what. The Nether is a terrifying and lonely place, and it took playing on Minecraft's easiest difficulty to see that. With all this in mind, the haunted feeling of the overworld and the horrors of the Nether, imagine knowing nothing about the game and doing the same things I did. It's no wonder urban legends like Herobrine were so popular among the community back then. Just like my experience with Peaceful Mode, the horror of Herobrine came from the fact that he never actually did anything to you. Stories of players finding man-made tunnels in their single-player worlds that they did not build, finding bizarre and almost impossible terrain generation, seeing a strange figure just outside their view. And I think that's what made Minecraft creepypastas and horror stories back in the day so engaging. It was this collective sense in the Minecraft community that there was something just out of reach, something so terrifying that never made note of its existence explicitly, but the very fact its presence was in question was enough to make you mortified to touch the
If you love iPhone, you'll love Apple Card. It comes with the privacy and security you expect from Apple. Plus, you are
game. And the fact that even those who were unaware of Herobrine would also report this feeling of being watched proved it was a universal experience for most players of the game. It's why people genuinely used to believe Herobrine was real, not as a joke, but as a genuine phenomenon, myself included. I remember nights me and my friends would attempt to find Herobrine, usually getting too scared and leaving. And it's all because his legend played into the one thing Minecraft's horror has always been about. A subtle thing you sense in the background, something you feel is so utterly terrifying and yet so out of reach. The feeling that you're not alone. This is all fine in regular Minecraft single player, filled with mobs to distract you from the terrifying backdrop to this otherwise tranquil game. But in peaceful mode there are no mobs. This backdrop of terror no longer becomes a backdrop. Instead, it's the main attraction. The thing you're forced to focus on because there is nothing to distract you from it. The reason I think this strange feeling isn't felt as much in regular Minecraft, and mostly in peaceful mode, has to do with our psychology. Because our minds are naturally trained to be afraid of peaceful mode. Okay, maybe not just peaceful mode, but let me explain. We don't like being scared, but in general, evolution has taught us that it's at least better to see the scary thing to know the best course of action. Fight or flight, how best to get away, what it looks like. I know I've talked about this before, but I think it applies here too. The feeling of seeing something scary, a monster, a ghost, some sort of threat to your life, is called horror. It's what you feel when you see a hungry grizzly bear coming straight for you. It's the type of fear many horror games use. In fact, the entire genre is named after it. But the other type of fear, the type often overlooked in popular horror media, is terror. Terror is not the direct threat, it's the anticipation of the threat. It's the feeling of being stuck in a forest knowing a hungry grizzly bear is somewhere around here, but not knowing where. Terror is the anticipation, the feeling that you're being watched, the knowledge that something is following you and could pop out at any moment. Experiences of terror often lead to experiences of horror. This is why we can sometimes find comfort in horror, a comfort in the fact that at least the terror is over, at least the anticipation is done with. We can finally be at peace. But peaceful mode doesn't let you feel at peace. It's not knowing something is watching you, it's knowing logically something shouldn't be watching you, but being weirdly doubtful of this fact. I mentioned the distinction between terror and horror in my video on liminal spaces. And wouldn't you know it, one of the most widely talked about liminal games is Minecraft. I could say a lot of what I think about liminal spaces about peaceful mode. And it would apply perfectly because peaceful mode is so good at creating this strange but creepy altered reality feeling. The point is, peaceful mode hijacks our brain in a way that makes it so we must fear the pure terror the entire thing is built on. And as long as we play, we can never stop feeling this fear.